Money doesn't change people. That's the lie they tell you at the dinner table. The truth is colder and far more useful once you understand it. Money is a chemical reagent. You pour it onto your relationships and it doesn't change anything. It reveals what was already there. Loyalty either crystallizes or it dissolves, right in front of you, and the only thing that changes is your ability to see it. By the time you've climbed from 0 to 100 million, you won't have lost your friends. You'll have run a 40-year experiment on human nature, and you'll know exactly who was reacting to you and who was reacting to your bank balance. So, let's run the experiment together, level by level. Watch how the people around you morph the moment the number on the screen starts to climb, and watch how the smart player learns to read it instead of crying about it. Level 1. $0. The couch surfer. You're sleeping on a friend's sofa and the cushion has a spring that catches your hip every time you roll over. Your phone is at 12% because you're rationing the charger. You owe somebody $40 and you're avoiding that text. And here's the strange thing about being broke. It's the most honest place you'll ever stand socially. Nobody is around you for your money because there isn't any. The guy letting you crash, he's doing it for free. The friend who buys your beer and waves off the Venmo request, he's not investing in your future returns, he likes you. This is the cleanest data you will ever collect, and you don't even realize you're collecting it. You think this is rock bottom. Actually, it's a baseline reading. Remember every face that fed you when you had nothing to offer back, because that list never gets longer, it only gets tested. The painful part is, you can't tell yet who's real, because at 0, generosity is cheap and loyalty hasn't been priced. Everyone can afford to like a broke man. Keep the names. You'll need them. Level 2, 100,000. The struggling hustler. Now you've got a little. A used car that runs, an apartment with your own name on the lease, a checking account that doesn't make your stomach drop when you open it on a Tuesday. 100 grand feels like a rival, and this is where the reagent gets poured for the first time, just a drop. Because now you're useful. You notice it in small textures. The cousin who never called now has a quick idea. He wants to run by you over coffee, and he insists on the nice coffee place. And somehow, you're the one reaching for your wallet. An old roommate resurfaces with a startup deck and the words, "I just need 10,000 to get this off the ground. And you're the only person I trust." You're the only person he trusts. Read that line again, because it's the most expensive sentence in the English language. At this level, the manipulation isn't sophisticated yet. It's clumsy, almost charming, easy to spot if you're paying attention. They overstate their affection right before the ask. They warm up the room. The smart move here isn't to slam the door. It's to start keeping a quiet ledger in your head who shows up only when they need, and who showed up at level 1 for nothing. That contrast is your map. Most people never draw it. They just feel vaguely used and call it bad luck. Level 3, 1 million, the rising executive. You crossed the 7-figure line and the air changed. You feel it before you can name it. People laugh a half second longer at your jokes now. Your opinion on a restaurant suddenly carries weight it never earned. You walk into a room and there's a faint gravitational pull. Chairs angle toward you. Conversations lean your way. This is where money stops whispering and starts shouting, and where your social circle quietly reorganizes itself without a single honest conversation. Old friends split into 2 clean categories, and you can almost watch it happen in real time. There are the ones who got weird. The buddy from level 1 who used to roast you mercilessly now goes quiet when you mention a deal because your win feels like a verdict on his life. He's not a bad person. He just can't metabolize the gap. And then there are the new arrivals, polished, charming, genuinely fun to be around, who appear at the dinners and the rooftop drinks and seem to materialize wherever you spend money. They mirror you perfectly. They like everything you like. And that's the tell, because real friends disagree with you, and these people never do. At 1 million, the danger isn't the obvious leech anymore. It's the pleasant proximity of people who've made a career out of being near money without ever asking for it directly. They don't want a loan. They want the access, the network, the reflected glow. The smart player learns the rule here, and it's a brutal one. Anyone who agrees with everything you say is billing you for the privilege of your company in a currency you can't see yet. You just can't read the invoice. Not at this level. But you're starting to. Level 4, 10 million. The private jet passenger. Now the reagent stops being a drop and becomes a flood. You're not on a couch anymore. You're in a leather seat at 39,000 feet. The engine a soft hum, a glass of something cold sweating in the cup holder. And the strange truth is, you barely remember booking it. Someone handled it. People handle things for you now. At 10 million, the texture of betrayal gets expensive and silent. Nobody asks you for $40 anymore. The asks are dressed in suits. A friend introduces you to a guy who can get you into a deal that's basically closed. And the warmth in his voice is real because he gets a finder's fee you'll never see itemized. Your circle has professionalized. The leech has got an MBA. And here's the part nobody warns you about. you start doing it too. You catch yourself measuring people by what room they can get you into. You notice you've stopped returning texts from the level 1 friend who fed you, not because you're cruel, but because his world got small and yours got loud, and the gap finally swallowed the friendship whole. That's the cost they don't quote you. The reagent doesn't just dissolve them, it tests whether it dissolves you. The smart player at this altitude does something almost no one does. He goes back. He calls the couch guy. He pays for nothing, asks for nothing, just shows up the same as before, and he watches the man's face to see if the friendship survived the money. That single test is worth more than the jet, because everyone up here is reacting to your balance. The couch guy is the only one left reacting to you, if he still is. Level 5, 100 million, the invisible power player. And this is where the whole experiment inverts, where you finally understand the rule that was hiding underneath all the others. At 100 million, you disappear. Not literally, you're in the room, the quietest one there, in a plain sweater that costs nothing while everyone else performs their wealth at you. But the noise stops. The clumsy asks, the mirroring charmers, the finder's fee friends, they can't reach you anymore, because there's an apparatus now. Lawyers, a family office, a person whose entire job is to say no so you never have to. The leeches don't even get past the gate. And in that sudden, eerie silence, you can finally hear the only signal that ever mattered. Because the people who are still here at 100 million are here for reasons money can't manufacture. They're the handful you kept from level 1, the couch guy who still roasts you, who still forgets you're rich, who calls at midnight not for a deal, but because his dad's in the hospital and you're the person he wants on the phone. You realize the climb was never about gaining friends. It was a 40-year filtration system, and the filter got finer at every level, until what's left in your hand is 3 or 4 names and absolute clarity. The smart player doesn't mourn everyone the reagent dissolved. He understands they were always going to dissolve. The money just told him when. So here's the thing nobody at the dinner table will admit. You spent your whole life afraid money would change who loved you. It didn't. It just turned the lights on in a room you'd been guessing about in the dark. Every face that fed you at 0, every clumsy ask at 100 grand, every agreeable stranger at 1 million, every suited introduction at 10, they were all readings on the same instrument, and you were the instrument all along. Go back to that couch for a second. The spring in the cushion, the phone at 12%, the friend who waved off the $40. He's still on the list. He was always the answer to a question you didn't know you were asking. Money is the most honest friend you'll ever have, because it never lies about other people. The only question it ever asks is whether you're brave enough to read the answer. Now you can. So the next time someone says money changed them, smile and say nothing. You know better. It just showed you who they were.